Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dragon King Entertainment channel with me, BadQualityBear, and Dragon King Entertainment himself. Well, where we are reviewing Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 16, A Roadside Attraction, which is hopefully the last romance episode that there is going to be in Gravity Falls. Yay!
Yes, and to be fair, it's probably one of the slightly better romance ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, the better romance ones are the ones with Dipper and Wendy, because obviously we know for a fact that nothing's ever going to happen there.
Yeah.
But it's the interesting dynamic of how they're going to work around it. Of course, obviously, the problem with the Mabel ones is that many different fucking people she tries to get with. Eventually, the idea just becomes very stale and very boring.
It's not a Mabel kind of romance episode. It's more of a Stan giving Dipper some.
Yeah, it's less of an actual proper romance episode and more of you've seen Stan trying to be an uncle and obviously give advice. Of course, it's Stan, so it's terrible advice.
And I mean, it did work.
Oh yeah, it worked, but it backfired. But that's the whole point of the episode is.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah, and obviously there's always a good chance of something backfiring, i.e. with the spider stuff at the end.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'd
say it's one of the better sort of ones that involves a romance plotline.
Definitely.
Because I feel like it's less. A lot of the other romance ones, they tend to split it off into multiple different fucking plots. Whereas this one, it doesn't really.
It's kind of just one long plot, but with an added destruction.
Yeah, because if you think about it, obviously the three female characters, they just keep you see them doing random stuff, but they're not really doing anything plot based or even B plot or anything. They're just doing random stuff. Yeah. It's only until obviously you get the Candy falling for Dipper part when they actually start going into the plot itself. Whereas obviously Stan, obviously he's doing the sort of B plot of the episode, which is going around these different attractions and basically sabotaging them. So, for example, the big ball of yarn basically he pulls that apart. The upside down house he puts it right around. The corn maze he puts basically these little insect creatures in there.
Corn weevils?
Yeah, but it's weird because are they there to eat it or are they just to? I don't understand what they're there to do because very clearly they don't eat it for the fact that
I was going to say
the maze is still there. Obviously, he also goes to the wood place and lets some beavers out.
Yeah.
It goes to a few different places and basically fucks them all over. And obviously, all while this is going on, obviously he's also teaching Dipper how to basically get over Wendy properly by flirting with other women because he watches him flirt with someone very badly. And he gives him the worst advice ever. But it works the first time. Gets an email. I'm actually thinking, well done, Dipper. Well done. Yeah. And then he's like, no, don't email. Don't email. We're going to talk to a lot more women. And by the end of a little montage, he's got loads of numbers and fucking everything all over his arm. But he's told never to contact any of them. And of course, that all backfires on him because they all encounter him at the same time.
Yeah. The one thing is, though, the first girl put their number, there.
Yeah, like his sort of wrist.
There, yeah. Around there. But then he had a number there. How would they not notice the other number that's there?
Maybe they're blinded by his charm. Just like how Stan was blinded by the fact that his lover was a Spider-Woman.
Okay, fair enough.
But yes, obviously... the B plot is them just going to these different attractions. Yeah. Whereas the A plot is him basically trying to romance different women. And of course that all leads to eventually Stan encountering someone who he basically tries to show off to Dipper like, oh, this is how you do it. Yeah. And in the process it turns out this woman's a giant spider. And tries to eat him. Forcing Dipper to team up obviously the rest of the group, apart from Seuss, because Seuss is currently stuck in a corn maze.
Yeah.
I completely forgot he was there, just like they did in the episode. Until the very end credit scene when you get to see him. And of course,
it's part of the problem.
And of course, in Seuss fashion, the reason he's still in the middle of the coal maze is because he was taught never to. If you
Grandma
lost,
said, never move. And stay exactly where you are.
so that's what he did, and they all fucking forgot about him. But of course, I say, the first most of the episode is just this romance storyline, and Dipper learning actions can have consequences. And then obviously the ending is when it goes for Gravity Falls, i.e., a spooky monster. In this case, a giant spider woman
that turns her skin inside out.
Yeah, it can just pull it down and become like an actual. Yeah, it's horrible. But I do think this is one of the more funner, obviously one of the better. Sorry, romance episode, because I say it actually has a lot of fun with it, and it doesn't really affect the episode heavily. Because a lot of times we're watching these romance ones, obviously the Mabel ones, eventually they get stale because there's too many of them. And then these ones, when there's just a side plot of a romance, it kind of takes away from the main episode, i.e. the Northwest Mystery Mansion one. You had that side plot of romance in that, and it kind of took the sting out of the episode too much. Whereas this, it didn't really. You had a lot of fun with them going through these places and fucking them all over. It was quite fun, obviously, watching Candy slowly fall for Dipper to their, obviously, the rest of the group's obviously shock, i.e. Grenda and Mabel roaring because of this, and Stan's reaction.
That was just coyotes.
Stan's reaction of, well, the coyotes are getting really weird out here. Stuff like that. There's a lot of good jokes in this. Don't get me wrong, it's not your greatest episode, but it is a lot better than a lot of the weaker episodes of Force, and it's a lot better than some of the other romance ones. It kind obviously this is kind of the last hurdle now before we get into the major plot, so it's just like a random episode that you could get rid of, and it's not a problem. But it is a fun episode to showcase the last of these randomness episodes. And it also takes us back to the Dipper-Wendy dynamic, showing that, yes, Dipper is over Wendy, but not 100%. He knows he can't get with her, but that's still eating at him ever so slightly, because he's kept all the mementos of pictures of her, and that's kind of still fucking with him. So this episode's more of him trying to move on fully into, obviously, to basically other girls. But, of course, he takes the wrong advice, and he takes Stan's advice, and
instead of the proper advice,
it just goes down until the giant spider starts chasing them and trying to eat them, until she gets crushed by a giant shoe. Her one weakness, a newspaper or a cup would have also
a giant cup. Yeah,
we must talk about the fact that Stan is a straight up moron and somehow forgot as soon as she got rid of the spider legs that it was the Spider Woman.
I don't think he forgot. I think it's just the fact that
she juiced him again.
He
was like, "Hello." And when she turned back, he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, my bad." Yeah, it's definitely. I say it's definitely one of the better romance ones. It's not it's not the best episode you'll ever see, but it is pretty fun, and I think that's what aids this episode in being a lot better. Because as I say, it balances this A and B plot good enough, and as I said, the romance stuff isn't as boring as we've had, because it's not just another Mabel one. I feel like that's what has done it with the Mabel ones too much, is there's too many of them. I feel like if there's only a couple, you could probably they probably wouldn't have been too bad, but I feel like they just had too many, and on top of that, I feel like sometimes the plots themselves didn't work well enough with it. Whereas this, I feel like them going on this road trip worked with a romance angle, because obviously you're seeing him seeing different girls at different places. Of course, then meet him all at the same place by mistake. You're like, so I feel like that worked. Obviously, over the course of this, you've seen Candy slowly falling for Dipper, just obviously because of how he spoke to her at one point.
The slight hints. Yeah,
because obviously he kind of he's like, "Oh, those new glasses? They're cool," and stuff like that. He's like, and that's what kind of makes her go, "Oh," because it could is Dipper cool? Do I like Dipper? So it is interesting to see that. So as I say, it's fun. That's what this episode's got going for it. It's fun. It still has that Gravity Falls monster angle, especially the spider, which is quite an interesting, obviously, creature. Because obviously spiders are very easy monsters to sort of... it's an easy thing to create a monster out of, and obviously this does it in very creepy way, but obviously they say the skin being able to pull back so it's humanoid, but then it becomes like a giant spider. That's quite creepy. And obviously it's voiced by someone from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is quite funny. Anyway,
okay.
Ratings, what are we going with?
Bro, I was asking you that, but then you assigned the spider talk.
You brought spiders up, so I thought I'd tell some fun stories about spiders.
I don't know.
I'll fire first, then give you a quick second to think.
9.1.
Oh, didn't even think 9.1. Okay.
Yeah, 9.1.
A lot higher than I've gone, but okay. I was going to say 8.8, which is the same rating I gave the one when Mabel finds the clones. Obviously, the ones that basically fall, the boy band ones.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that was just like me thinking.
There's a lot of clone episodes.
Like the Dipper one.
I'm pretty certain I also gave that an 8.8 as well. So I'm going to the same rating I gave, I say, that one, because that was another fun romance one that wasn't overshadowed by a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like an 8.8 is pretty decent. I wasn't going to any higher, and I wasn't really going any lower. I say it's fun. There's a lot of humor to this episode. I said the romance isn't really too much for this one. It works well with the plot.
Yeah.
I like the road trip angle. Everyone's involved. Zeus gets left behind hilariously.
Never to be seen again.
Giant spider.
Although I can see him in a thumbnail for another episode.
Giant spider people.
Yeah.
And then obviously Stan getting his comeuppance of they obviously attacked his house and destroyed his mystery shack as well. And then his response of, "What have I done to deserve this?"
Everyone loves Stan.
So I feel like that is a decent rating for me. So I wouldn't go I wouldn't push into the 9s, but I wouldn't go any lower into the 8s for this one. So I feel like that's a decent spot.
Fair enough. For me, it's just a in the middle of the road kind of episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that glowing subscribe button if it works on your channel, and hit the like button. And if you like what I do, you can check me out on Twitch. I am currently streaming Pokemon Nuzlocke at the moment, due to being challenged to actually completing one. Damn you, Ari. And if you don't want to check me out live, you can always check out my YouTube channel at BadQualityBear. And if you don't like Gravity Falls, firstly, what you're doing here, check out the other videos. We've done Pokemon reviews, DC, and we've also played some games like A Way Out and It Takes Two. So yeah, until next time.
If you like what you've seen, don't be afraid to throw us a little like and subscribe. That's always very appreciated over here. And, well, I'll see you on the next video.